Hey guys, I'm Grestar, and how about we react to RWBY Chapter 9, The Badge and the Burden. So as with my other RWBY reactions, I will not be having the actual RWBY video playing on my screen. In order to sync that up with my reaction, you're gonna have to do some work on your own, so download the RWBY episode preemptively or open it in another window or tab. I will put a little timestamp in the corner. It'll be this corner actually, just so you can sync it up better, and I'll tell you when to press play and all that, but you have to do that on your own. So yeah, if this doesn't work for you, I'm sorry, that's just how I'm doing it right now. Might I actually do it in a Let's Watch format in the future? Yes, but for now guys, you yelling at me about it in the comments isn't helping. But in order to prepare for that, to sync it all up and everything, I'm going to be using this video. It's just from Rooster Teeth's YouTube channel under the RWBY playlist. Just click this handy dandy annotation, it'll take you right to it. Before we begin though, this is the second sitting I've ever had with, reacting to RWBY. Like, chapters 1 through 8 were all one sitting, and now I'm here again. So I wanted to answer some of the comments that kept coming up. Like, these ones happened a lot, and I just want to address them really quick. So first, one of them in general is just like, if you guys don't like how I'm doing this, don't watch it. That's all. It's as simple as that. If you don't like, the fact that I'm not posting the video, or if you don't like the critique that I give, just stop watching. That's fine. Because I'm not going to stop doing it the way I'm doing it on your account. I'm just not going to stop. So if it's bothering you that much, just don't bother with these videos. We'll be cool. So now a lot of people are remarking about the fact that I keep calling this an anime and how it doesn't follow the anime structure and how that bothers me. And they're saying that it's not an anime. And I guess what people are trying to say, because some are more articulate than others, is that it's not considered an anime until later, volume 2 or 3, I'm not sure which, maybe. But people are saying that volume 1 was not to be considered an anime, and so I shouldn't judge it as one. Fair enough. However, the only reason I started calling it an anime in the first place is because so many people were like hammering it into my head that despite how different it looked visually and everything, despite it not being from Japan, that it was indeed an anime. So I only started calling it an anime because everyone said it was an anime, and so now people are saying that it's not an anime, I guess until volume 2 or 3. It's confusing. Now, even not considering it an anime, I'm not going to retract any of my statements about it being too short or about what an episode should actually contain, because I still hold those beliefs, but I will say that sure, it's not an anime, so I won't think of it as one yet. But see, just saying that, I know people are going to be upset with me. So basically, it's a lose-lose scenario. You can't please everyone. Next one. You complain about the same thing every time. Yes, I do, because I find the same thing to complain about every time. Aside from chapter 1 and chapter 8, none of them had all of the parts that I think are essential to having a complete episode. And so to me, it was they just weren't incomplete, and so I'm going to complain about that. That's a thing. And I would say that I'm criticizing more than complaining, because complaining has a negative connotation, and oftentimes it's associated with being incorrect in the things you're saying, you know what I mean? And I totally think that I'm right in saying that they should be longer, they should have more content, etc. Now to jump right onto something else that a lot of people have brought up, which I even brought up myself, so I don't know why so many people are saying this, but yes, I'm aware that especially in volume 1, they had a low budget, they didn't have a lot of time, they had a small crew. I'm aware of that stuff. But just because someone doesn't have some means doesn't mean that, like, everything is just excusable. Like, if I only had crayons and I made a drawing and people said that it looks like a child drew it, should that just not be allowed to be said because I only had crayons available? Like, no, it's fine. Like, I get that you should know about the circumstances, and I do, but that doesn't mean that the fact that the chapters aren't like complete episodes, that they should have more stuff in them, that doesn't make that wrong. Can I see where they're coming from? Absolutely, but that doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? There is a clear difference there. Next one. It's already been done, so there's no point in criticizing it. That one makes absolutely no sense. I mean, first of all, you could take your own statement to be hypocritical in the sense that my video is already done and yet you're criticizing the way that I'm doing things. That right there, you shouldn't be criticizing because I already did it. No, you know what reviews are all about, what critiquing is all about? You have to do things on pre-existing material. That's just what it is. I mean, to say that you're not allowed to say stuff about a movie or about a book because it's already been filmed or already been written, that's nonsense. Now, if I were to continue to judge Rooster Teeth or every RWBY episode as like terrible based upon what I thought of the first few chapters, yeah, that would be on me. That would be a fault of mine. But as long as I can keep an open mind and go forward, there is nothing wrong with critiquing old episodes and actually being honest about them. Next one, if the length bothers you, watch more at a time. So people are suggesting binge watch. That again is not the same thing. Because especially, I mean, a lot of people I've read in the comments too talked about how they also had those complaints when they were actually watching it as the episodes are being released, because they would watch like one 6-minute episode and then have to wait a week for the next one. And so just the fact that you could watch more at once doesn't change the fact that one episode is not a complete episode on its own. That doesn't change the fact. That just changes how quickly you're consuming it, but it doesn't change what it is. If I'm going to be reacting to this and reviewing it, you know, offering my thoughts, I'm going to offer my genuine thoughts. I'm going to be speaking my honest opinion, and that includes talking about the episodes, you know, like one at a time, rather than just as a whole. At least one person brought up that RWBY had short chapters like Red vs. Blue, and I saw Red vs. Blue, the beginnings of it, years ago, you know, clear back in like my first year of middle school, junior high. So, you know, I'm not gonna say that I remember everything perfectly well, but in my mind, thinking back to it, they're very different things, because one is having like an actual story structure, and I always thought of Red vs. Blue in the beginning, in the early stages, as more of like a comedic skit kind of show, you know? Like, it was a funny web series using Halo. There's definitely a difference between something as episodic as Red vs. Blue, where one thing doesn't necessarily carry on to the next, compared to RWBY, where it's actually like you need to look at it as a series, and every episode actually matters and leads into that, you know what I mean? So I don't think that comparison is really fair, just because of the different kinds of content they're trying to like convey. Next one, they fixed it on Netflix/DVD. That's good. That is fantastic. So you guys should just keep in mind that I am not judging it based upon how they're releasing it on Netflix or DVD. I'm judging it based upon how they have it in their RWBY playlist, you know, how they had it initially. One of the reasons that I brought up the fact where I'm bringing the video, not only so you can sing it properly, but so you know this is my source. So I can't react to something that I'm not watching, you know? Like, if I'm not watching it on Netflix, clearly I cannot, you know, get opinions from the Netflix one. Like, I only have what I have here. And so, if it's bothering you, you should just keep that in mind. Like, I'm not critiquing. If they put them all together on Netflix or the DVD as one kind of movie, fantastic. I hope that works out well for it, because I don't know, because I'm not experiencing that. But that's the point. I'm not experiencing it. I'm judging it based upon what I am experiencing, which is one episode at a time. Okay, last thing I'm going to mention here before we actually begin is, like, a lot of people seem to be concerned that I was going to quit watching. People are like, just hold out until chapter 8 at least, you know? And I never had any plans to stop. Like, I think that a lot of people misunderstood or mistook my criticism to say that I wasn't enjoying the show. Part of the reason that the short episodes and the lack of substance bothered me so much is because I am liking the show so far. I'm really enjoying the characters. I'm interested in the world that RWBY is creating. I want to learn more about dust and semblance and auras and everything like that. The issue is that it's just, you know, well, I brought it up. The lengths, the substance, the content, you know? So I'm liking it. And that is why it bothers me so much that there are these issues that have so far been persisting. Now, I've heard that they're going to change, and I'm very glad for that. I am very much looking forward to the time when it changes, when I guess it becomes more of an official anime kind of thing, you know? And for now, it's not, and that's fine. I'm going to live with that. I'm going to keep going until it reaches those better points, and then continue on. Like, I am committed now to watching this show, so those of you who are interested in seeing my reactions and hearing my thoughts are totally welcome to come along the ride. But yeah, just don't think I'm quitting, and don't think when I say something that's bad or negative about the show that I'm hating on it, or that I'm just hating it in general. Like, people don't have to get defensive, because I'm not attacking anything. I am just voicing my opinions. And so I just wanted to clear those things up, because they kept coming up over and over again, and so I wanted to make some things clear, and I hope that I have made things a little more clear. I guess I'll see. I don't know. But yeah. Alright. That's done. So alright then. RWBY Chapter 9, The Badge and the Burden. Let's get to watching. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1, play, and when I say play, click play for the best synchronization. Alright. 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah! We have RWBY and stuff. I don't know, like I did, I hate having to go on like that, but again, seeing all those comments, all the same, all like yelling at me because I hated their favorite show, it's since it was not true, and so not true, I had to talk about stuff. So, I hope you guys are more comforted now. Anyway, RWBY, here we go, credits, or intro's over. Aw, sweepy schnee. Why? Which is what? Oh! Oh. How long did she sleep in? Bonsai! Poor Weiss. Okay, so they all were put into teams last time, and now they were all put into a single room. Was that Ninjas of Love? I assume so, but all right, I guess that works. I'm still wondering what's up with the uniforms. It would save space, though. Yeah. And off they go. It has been decided. Did you make them? Yeah, no, that's not safe. I would agree with that. Oh, no. Oh. Well, you didn't hear what you had, did you? The animation in this one seems especially odd. Ah. Ah. But grim. Yes, grim beast. Yes. Delightful. Um. Okay. From Grimm? Oh. Is it you? Yep. She making a circle? What are you snickering about? Oh. Well, that would do it. Good for you. Oh, okay. Is that a good thing to do in a classroom? Y'all know what I'm thinking. I don't have to say it. Oh, that is actually something that I didn't mention in my rant. I don't like calling it that because it's accurate, but video ended, and this one was checking time. Where's thing. 5 minutes and 31 seconds long. Alright, so yeah, talking about this one, the thing that I forgot to mention was one reason why I repeat myself with how I'm not going to have the same Let's Watch format, and then with, again, the issue of length, is because not everyone watches every single one of my videos. If someone happens to stumble upon one of these without having seen the others, then I want them to know my opinions and know my thoughts too, and so, you know, I'm gonna be fair, and I'm gonna repeat myself. But I will try to do it a little more succinctly this time. I feel that the length of this one was lacking. I feel that there should have been more content, and that things ended kind of abruptly, right when things start to get a little more interesting. People pointed out that those are called cliffhangers, and they're in every kind of entertainment, blah blah blah. No, it's a little bit different, because cliffhangers usually involve some sort of build-up and then meh. And this one, it's usually just like, there are things, and then it's quiet. Like, it's just, as soon as things take any sort of turn, it's just an end. Like, cliffhangers are different. So, keep that in mind. Anyway, the rest of this episode, now to talk about that, it was amusing how we get to see them, like, their first kind of interactions as a team outside of the dire situation. But it wasn't my favorite, and I think this is more of a personal thing, because one of the things that I dislike about anime, and I'm not saying that RWBY Volume 1 is an anime, I'm just saying one of the things I don't exactly love about anime, is when things are a little bit too eccentric, when things get, like, super chibi in anime and things like that. And there were a lot of the animation in the beginning, and a lot of the transitioning and everything was very out there, you know, at least compared to normal kind of stuff. And so it wasn't my absolute favorite, but like I said, I did enjoy actually seeing the four of them interact, and honestly, I am surprised that Weiss was the last one to wake up. I figured she, aside from maybe Blake, would be the first one up, you know, the most studious, the most ready for the day kind of thing, but no, everyone else was already up and dressed, and she was in bed, so I guess I just misjudged that part of her character? I don't know. I'm just saying, that's not a complaint, I'm just saying. Now, I wonder how much of that during the classroom bit RWBY would have actually done. If all of it, because we saw her do all of it, that's fine, I'm just wondering. But part of me wonders too if some of it was exaggerated just to have that point with Weiss, where they were clearly so different, kind of foil-esque, you know? With, you know, like drawing the picture, with snickering, with picking her nose, with balancing and you know, all of that, like, that was all very, very silly. And RWBY, I don't know, like, it's not to say that she isn't the type to be silly, but from what I've seen of her, she also seemed, like, super pepped in order to actually, like, become strong, to become a huntress, to protect those who can't protect themselves. And so, during their first class to goof off like that was odd to me. So I would rather it have been an exaggeration in order to emphasize the differences between RWBY and Weiss, because otherwise it would just make me be like, you know, you're not really living up to everything you've been saying about how excited you are. Like, are you really sure you were ready to have jumped up those 2 grades, you know, to actually go to Beacon instead of Signal, etc., etc., and yeah. And I can't think of anything that I actually learned from this episode about the world, or even necessarily about the characters, unless you just count the fact, okay, Weiss, unlike what I thought, would sleep in RWBY, despite what she said, would goof off like that. Like, if you consider that learning, I guess, but I don't want to so much, because those are such, like, minor things that don't really seem to add up to anything in the end. Obviously, I don't know the end, but thinking about it now, it doesn't seem like it would add up to anything big. And when the professor talked about the world, he didn't really say anything, I don't think, that we didn't know, or if he did, I think it was during parts where we were distracted by Weiss and RWBY, and that's not a smart thing to do in a story, like, from a storytelling perspective. That's certainly not smart to have things hidden behind other stuff, unless you're purposely going for that, but why would you during Volume 1, which is apparently supposed to just be the introduction to the series as a whole? So, like, he called them Grimm, and he referred to one of them as Beowulf, so I guess now I kind of know the name of one of those, like, kind of, what are they called? Not exactly bipedal. Digigrade or digitigrade, one of those, but like with the, you know, walk on 2 legs, but with the knee joint in the back kind of thing, you know what I mean? That. Like, we learned that those are called Beowulf, and that's all that I really remember. He smelled of cabbages, or his father smelled of cabbages? I don't know. He was welcomed back as a hero, but like, unless the biggest part of this one was just to be like, hey look, the girls are all together in their own room, and the professor hears a little bit about him because he's going to keep coming back. Like, if the professor does keep coming back, and his silliness and pervertedness, like, becomes a thing that's actually important to the series, or at least if he becomes an important side character to the girls, like, that makes sense enough. But still, as always, wasn't entirely satisfied with the content of the episode, with how much there was, rather how little there was. And yes. So let me know what you guys thought about this in the comments. Keep in mind that I wasn't being aggressive, offensive, so don't be defensive. I'm just saying what's on my mind because that's the point of this series. So yeah, let me know. And I will be posting part 2 today as well. It will probably be out about like 10-15 minutes after this video is out, but a lot of you seeing this is probably already going to be out. So make sure to click here if you'd like to see that. This annotation should just take you right to it. Unless I haven't been home and able to actually, like, link the annotation yet. But yeah, go ahead and click that. It'll probably be good. And yeah, with that, we're calling it here. Cue outro, go!